Queensland. This is interesting. Neighbours in the leafy suburb in Brisbane have taken their voice campaigning to a whole new level. Now, what's striking is you've got a yes campaigner and a no campaigner side by side, not just out with posters on the balcony. One of them has even turned their house upside down with a lick of paint. Joining me to discuss is one of those family men involved, passionate no voter, Liberal National Party member and businessman David Goodwin. David, welcome for the program. Great to have your company. I thought this is a fascinating story in your suburb of Wynnum. You've got a no poster, fair enough, from Fair Australia on your balcony saying vote no to the voice of division. But your neighbour, he's got the paintbrush out as well, haven't they?
They certainly have. They're from Melbourne. I hope the summer is kind to them. But they're passionate and... But interestingly enough, I think it's really interesting to see the response of all the people who walk past every day. You don't go 5 minutes without people pulling the camera out and taking photos of the contrast. So we've become a little bit famous there for our relative positions.
And you've proudly got an Australian flag. Do they have a flag as well?
Well, they've got an Aboriginal flag. Interestingly enough, they actually, they're great supporters of a treaty as well. So they want a treaty with the Indigenous people. And actually, before the Yes 23 sign came up, they were very focused on a treaty. We've got an Australian flag. They've got an Aboriginal flag. We've sort of got a different approach on these things. But look, what I would say is everybody's been pretty respectful. You don't have to chat to your neighbours all the time. But in our case, we've got a batch of kids and they do the one thing we need and they throw tennis balls back over when my kids hit them over the fence. So for that, we're very grateful. And I suppose it'll be interesting to see how it works out when the results of the referendum do come in.
Look, it's nice to know you're still being neighbourly because certainly that's not how the debate has played out in many instances on the national stage. I think there's been a lot of derision. I think there's a lot of poor behaviour of the politicians. I'm glad to see you're not in that camp. Queensland fell into the no side of the campaign ledger fairly early on, if the polls are to be believed. What's it feel like on the ground, this voice campaign in your state?
Look, I think you can see the power and the dollars of the Yes campaign coming through. I mean, the sheer amount of material that they put out. I mean, they're backed by the big corporates. They've sort of got the elite end of town who are backing them, but you can sort of see you can almost take a litmus test of cars going past, and you just see as people going past the little, that little wave, that finger, the thumbs up, and but I would also have to say this: in the main, I don't think it's the issue that burns in many people's minds. When they go past our houses, they certainly think about it, and you can certainly observe. I think. The national polls that you're seeing, I would certainly see that in terms of the car traffic going past, the thumbs up. Look, no voters are typically a little bit quiet about it. Yes voters can be a little bit, abusive. They'll yell and hoot and get a little bit annoyed at us. But I don't think. Look, I think they're trying. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's got the well-being of Indigenous people at heart, and I just think that there's different ways of getting there. And obviously, the sense I get is most no voters ultimately don't want to see the country divided. And if you watch Kamal last night, that was where he got to as well. He was no, then he was yes, then he's no. He doesn't want to see it divided. So I don't think the average person. I talk to people in my business circles and staff and the rest, and most people, that's really what it comes down to. And I think maybe Queensland, we're a bit further from the head office culture of the elites, and I think therefore people just sort of see it on the ground and don't really like being lectured to. They like to think that we can all be one.
David, I know your faith is important to you. I know you're connected to the Christian religion. You've got a big tribe of kids, as you said. There's been a lot made of the fact that basically all the religious organisations, a raft of churches have come out for the Yes camp. We know sporting organisations too. Do you think the churches here are moving votes, or they're not as persuasive perhaps as they might have been in the past?
I don't think they're persuasive really at all. I don't. Yeah, everybody agrees with the moral position that we want the best for the most disadvantaged. I think the church, if they took that seriously, would probably not be talking about the voice. In my opinion, they'd be talking about fatherlessness or something like that, because that's the single biggest determinant of whether you go well in life or you don't. And I think the average person sees through it. I mean, it's the same as at the football. No one likes being lectured to. You know, you go to watch the Broncos play up here. You know, you don't really go to get a homily, and I don't think it's really made that much impact, because I think the moral position, everybody's on the same page. Australians overwhelmingly want recognition for Aboriginal people. They want them to be the same. I mean, the last time a referendum on this went before the people, everybody supported the common humanity we share. So I think if the church was talking to that moral question, they'd have something to say. But in terms of how we administer a democracy, I don't think their voice is particularly influential.
Very eloquently said there about the common humanity, David. Thank you for your time.